So this girl hit me up on some woman to woman stuff, and I'm like, what? What's good, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Aisha. This is Aisha's Life. Today I have the start of 31 days of story times, and I'm very excited to bring this video to you guys, and all of the videos is going to be in this series. So if this is your first time seeing me, please make sure you hit that subscribe button with the bell, press all to get all notifications, and like this video as well. And don't forget to follow me on all of my socials. So let's get into this video. Okay, so we're gonna start off with giving him a name, because I'm definitely gonna tell him about the story time, okay? I'm definitely gonna tell. Let's name him Ryan, because why not? Okay, so Ryan and I had met my freshman year, I believe it was my freshman year, at the blind school. If you don't know, your girl went to the Indiana School for the Blind and Visually Impaired. Period. And when I first got there, I did not want to be in relationships with nobody, but for whatever reason, this particular guy, he just was really persistent. Like, Ryan was very persistent, and that's what definitely made me attracted to him in that way, because he was persistent. When me and him first started to like kind of flirt and kind of talk, I didn't really pay him no mind. Like, I didn't really see him as a guy that I would personally want to be with, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just wasn't clicking the way he thought it was clicking. The first day that he really was trying to lay it on thick, okay, he was putting it on thick, was literally Valentine's Day of 2013. Ryan was like, the whole day kept trying to talk to me. He had mentioned to me like, yeah, you know, I'm feeling you, I like you or whatever. And I kind of just was like, you are, period. Yeah, I don't like you like that, bro. The next time me and him really was able to like speak was at the Valentine's Day dance, and he sat me down. He was like, hey, can I talk to you? And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, let's go have a sit down. We sit at the table at the dance, y'all. The music's going, everybody else dancing. He sits me down and he's like, hey, I know that you've been avoiding me all day, because I was. He was like, I just want to let you know, like, I think you're so beautiful. I really want to just, you know, let you know, like, I really, you know, would like to be closer with you. Basically, that's basically what he was saying. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay. So he hands me a letter, y'all. I wish I knew where this letter is at. I'm pretty sure I still have it, because it was handwritten, you know, it was handmade and all that good stuff. So I was like, okay. So I ended up getting the letter, and I went back to the dorm room that night after the dance was done. And basically inside the letter, he was like, you're just a beautiful queen inside this castle, because at the blind school here in Indiana, it's kind of like an old castle. He was like, you are a beautiful queen. You're the most beautiful girl in this castle, and all these peasants, like he called everybody else peasants. Like, y'all, the letter was landing on thick. So that Friday, because the dance was on a Thursday, that Friday, he kind of was just like, when he saw me outside, he was like, hey, I know you read the letter. I'm sure you've read it pretty much. Like, I want to be a boyfriend type stuff. And I'm like, okay, let's give this guy a chance. Like, I don't mind. It's whatever. So the next time we ended up talking was like that weekend. We talked a little bit here and there over the phone, but I still was being very distant with him. We get back to school, and I'm still kind of being distant with him, not really trying to talk to him too much, even though I just agreed to be in a relationship with this boy. So here we go, we talking, we vibing, but something inside of me just knew I just couldn't go with it. So what ended up happening was, every day, y'all, for months, I would break up with this boy. I would let him know first hour, like, I don't want to be with you no more. Like, this is not what I want. Like, I kept saying it, right? But this is the thing about Ryan. Y'all have to understand, Ryan was a very, I'm saying like that man did. He was a very sweet, sweet individual. Like, to this day, he still is a very genuine, sweet guy. It's just that at that time, I just was like, I feel like we're best as friends. Like, I don't think we need to intertwine the two. So every day I'm breaking up with this boy. It was like really like 3 months, because we didn't date that long, because I was like, this is too much. Like, we keep putting ourselves through this BS for what? So eventually he and I kind of just like started to slowly pull apart, and I just let him know, like, hey, I don't think this situation between you and I are going to really work, so maybe we need to just break it off. And when we did that, we realized like we was really best left as friends. Like, sometimes you don't have to jump into a relationship with somebody, and that's what we realized, right? Okay, so get to like, I want to say a couple of years later, he gets with another girl, and Like I said, I knew that me and him were gonna be bestest friends, so I didn't press no issue on me and him being together or being a thing after that. After that point, like, we was able to be fine. We was able to be cordial in our friendship groups. Like, it was a very easy break, right? And he gets into a relationship with another girl who doesn't go to the school. She like lives in his hometown, I think in like Gary or like Hammond, Indiana, one of those. So she gets back, well, they get together, and he starts to, tell us about his girlfriend, da da da. And I'm like, I'm so excited for you, period. But I guess he ended up telling her about me somehow. And I thought this whole situation was a little weird. Like, why would you tell me about, well, why would you tell your new girl about your ex? Like, especially the detail I guess he gave her, because she was very insecure. So this girl hit me up on some woman to woman stuff, and I'm like, what? So I get this message, I'm chilling. Actually, I think me and him was talking about her like that night or whatever, because like I have a string of Facebook messages between me and him. But me and him was talking that night, and he was like, he kind of said something along the lines of like, my girlfriend's tripping, like I ain't trying to mess with that right now, like I'm just trying to be cool, but she, she doing too much type of stuff. So I get a message out the blue, literally as I'm texting other people, right? And it's this girl saying hi, and I'm like, hi, like, hello, who's this type of stuff. I'll put the receipts on the screen. So she sends me that, and then I'm like messaging her back like, what do you want? Who is this? Like, da 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 da. And she tells me who she is, and I'm like, okay, but what do you want? Like, what are you messaging me for? So she was just basically like, they got into it, and she was just trying to see what's going on with me and him. Nothing was clearly going on with me and him, because like I just told y'all, me and his relationship had broke easily. Like, to this day, like, I actually just talked to him a couple of weeks ago, and we were on the same page. Like, we were very, very chill with the situation that we had going on, right? We're the best of friends, pretty much. So I'm letting her know, like, we ain't got nothing like that going on. This guy is a really good guy. If you're showing loyalty to him, he'll show loyalty to you. The way your energy is to him is gonna be reciprocated back. Whenever you give that energy to him, he's gonna give it right back to you. That's what I was telling this girl, but she was so insecure about it. She was just like, I just don't want him to break up with me. I just don't want to be alone. Like, all this type of stuff. And I'm just like, well, I'm not the problem. Like, I'm not the problem. You need to, put that up with him. So I text him back. He ended up sending me like their whole text message thread, And I'm like, oh my God, like this is OD crazy, right? So in my head, I'm like, how did I even get here? Like, me and him broke up, we're good. Years later happens, and here you are trying to come to me woman to woman about a boy that has graduated. I think he had graduated at that point, because I think he graduated the year before me. He's since graduated, and he's moved on in his life. I've moved on in my life. We're good. We're done with the whole situation, right? But she was so persistent. Me and this girl ended up still talking months later. I think I hit her up Christmas of that same year, just to ask her like, hey, you good? Like, everything great? She's like, yeah, but she was been kind of dry. So I was like, yeah, it probably is a little random for me to just hit you up random to ask you how you doing. But anyways, they ended up breaking up. So get to today, 2022, right? And after, like I just told you, I talked to him a couple of weeks ago with my friend Jaden. So we was like scrolling through messages on Facebook, and that's when I was going through the text message thread, seeing everything. So I called him, well, Jaden called him, and I ended up talking to him, and I was telling him like, you remember that girl that you used to date that came to me in my DMs talking about like, what's going on with you? And I just said that man's name. What's going on between you and Ryan? He was like, yeah, that's crazy, because a couple of months ago, she was trying to hit me up just this year. And I'm like, wait, that is wild. Like, first of all, this man is not married, has a whole ass wife, okay? I was like, that's so weird that she is still hitting you up months freaking later. Like, at the end of the day, clearly you can see on his Facebook page, like, he's in a relationship with somebody. Like, that's a thing for him right now. So fuck a relationship, that man is in a whole marriage, okay? And for this girl to still be hitting him up and still trying to cause problems to his everyday life is wild to me. So like I said, I was like, well, I just was going through those messages, and I was just like, I want to remember that shit, because that was fucking crazy. Like, that was so off left field. But yeah, that was the time a girl tried to come to me woman to woman, and it really didn't go nowhere, okay? It didn't go nowhere. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this story time. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button with that bell press on to get all notifications, and like this video for more videos because we're posting every single day, probably around the same time each day. I ain't even gonna hold you. I'm not gonna hold you. It'll probably be around the same times every single day for the month of October. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.